Hello, it's Will or Tube Mix Evil will do, and welcome to episode 22 of Without a Kick to Ball. Now, it's a bit different this episode because there was no Premier League games, so we've had to slightly tweak the formula, as it were. And it's basically me, Jordan, Sam, basically looking at the state of the tables and predicting who we think is going to be relegated, who we think is going to be promoted, and, well, who to win the titles in the Premier League and the EFL. So, hope you enjoy. And now all that remains for me to do is to hand over to your hosts, Jelly Wheels and Sam Taylor.
I want to start with a little bit of bad news. I haven't told the boys about this before the show, actually, which I probably should have done. But Chesterfield put out a statement today to say that one of their owners, they're owned by twins, or brothers at least, one of their owners, Phil Kirk, has announced that he has inoperable cancer.
My God,
now,
wow.
The reason that this is important is that under the stewardship of the Kirks, Chesterfield have gone from a team that free fell from League One into the conference, and just recently they've had obviously a good few years. They're in League Two, not on the greatest of runs at the minute, but they will be safe and will be with us again next year. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up and kind of just say that it's desperately sad.
Yeah.
And especially when it's a local person, a local businessman, done good, loves the club, supporter from a young age, and yeah, thoughts are with him at this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking about you, and it's desperately sad news, and it puts into perspective the things that you think about in life and worry about and stuff, and there's people out there that have been given that tragic news. But all our hearts are in Chesterfield tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. My apologies as well, boys, for dropping that one on you. I didn't.
It's all right. It's part of being on
I was reading the statement just before we started, so I had to get that in there.
Yeah.
Right. As usual.
Good luck, Phil. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. As usual, if there have been any managerial move-arounds, that's where I like to start. So let's start there. First of all, we'll go for League One because it's obviously the higher league. And a sad one for me personally, and also for Sam as well, who we're talking about just. Sean Maloney sacked by Wigan. He came in and was a decent manager, trying to do some good things with a really young squad in a time of, it's a transitional time for Wigan, really, still following financial troubles. And I think the current ownership group are slowly working through those issues, but obviously they are quite restricted still. But yeah, thoughts on the sacking of Sean Maloney, please, boys.
Well, if you don't mind me going first, Will.
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, you go
first. Sean Maloney, obviously an iconic player for Wigan, was instrumental in their 2013 FA Cup victory over Man City. Remember it well. One of the iconic days of growing up watching football. But Sean Maloney as a guy and as a manager, I really liked his style. I thought he tried to play football in the right way. I remember they played Manchester United last season in the FA Cup. third round, I think it was, or it might have been the fourth round. But anyway, they played a really good style of football, and I think he'd not long been appointed then. And I thought, yeah, this is going to work. But like you said, financial troubles and you got such a young squad that Sean was probably up against it, and maybe Wigan with everything going on probably should have stuck with him. I know they're a long way off the heavy days of the Premier League. The
Yeah,
Premier
because I
League.
was just about to say, I remember, Wigan in the Premier League.
Yeah, and obviously, going back to the FA Cup, synonymous with the FA Cup because people forget that they also beat Man City. I think it was in 18-19 season, the FA Cup, Will Grigg and all that, and also the year they won it. The next year they got to the semi-finals again, which is quite a run. But Sean Maloney, I'm sure this won't be the end of his coaching career. I think he's a bright young manager. He managed. Did he manage Hibernian? Was it before Wigan?
Hibs, yeah. And
Yeah,
I think he was a long-term assistant to Roberto Martinez as well. So I wouldn't.
yeah,
That's
Did
what I was going to
Roberto
say.
Martinez win the FA Cup with Wigan?
yeah.
Yeah, he was the winning
The
manager.
managers.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just to,
I thought so, but I
So,
wasn't sure. Thank you for that.
just to finish off for me, Sean Maloney's coaching career, managerial career is not over. Whether we're going to make the right decision remains to be seen. I mean, yes, they want to be challenging near the top of League One and getting back into the Championship minimum, but you've got to take into account the current climate of the club, the current struggles of the club, the situation they find themselves in. So yeah, an interesting decision, but they obviously felt it was time to move on.
yeah, I think it's interesting as well because I think Wigan falls into one of those clubs that's in League One at the moment with a huge amount of recent history. Bolton, Charlton,
Yeah.
Huddersfield. Even though Huddersfield obviously were only in the were in a short spell in the Premier League, but they were still there. Birmingham, of course, as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Some before I move on to what I think is next for Sean Maloney. Some thoughts from you, Will?
Well, I don't think it's particularly helpful if the club is in not a great place financially, and also this point of the season we're in February now. Oh no,
Well,
sorry, we're in March. Sorry. I don't think there's any point really sacking him now. You might as well have just given him until the end of the season. So
In a bad place though in the table as well as in the bad place in the table as we'll talk about.
I get that, but I think he should have been given the chance to see what he could do at the end of the season, and then because at this point there's not really any point sacking managers really.
unless sorry to cut in, Will, but
No, feel free.
unless they think they're in danger of relegation and that Sean Maloney can't turn it around, then
I
Essentially,
think
yeah.
I think it's a very difficult scenario, but then I think there's a flip side to this, which is the job that was being done by Ruben Sayes and then Noel Hunt currently at Reading, who they've got a squad literally full of teenagers because they've got no choice. Because of all the ownership stuff that's going on with them. Good news about that, by the way, as we'll get to. So I think sometimes you can say, oh well, it's an inexperienced squad. They've not got a lot of money, and but they have been in free fall recently, and
Yeah, well,
do
I
I
think he
think
should have been given till the end of the season. That's my view, and also the financial aspect as well. I think they should have just stuck with him. But that's my view. That's my view.
it doesn't
that is
matter.
a good point. That is a good point actually, because not saying Wigan are in financial ruin, but they've been in dangerous waters for a while. They will have had to pay off Sean Maloney, won't they?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that could have been even more damaging. That's not going to help them. So really, they should have stuck with him. I think. So.
Okay. Yeah, I can see these.
There's more advantages to sticking with him, to continue sticking with him until the end of the season than disadvantages for me.
What, apart from being in League Two, maybe?
Well, yes, but that's that's just my faults anyway.
Okay, well, first of all, I think that Sean Maloney will, as Sam said, will continue on. I kind of think that the next time we'll see him might be as assistant or a coach with Roberto Martinez, as we've seen him do before. But I think he's still got a good career ahead of him. At this point, shall I give you some potential? Shall I give you the 4 favourite with the bookies to take over?
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Okay. Wayne Rooney.
Not on this list.
Oh, wow, that's a novelty.
Steven Gerrard.
Not on this list.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else? Gary Monk.
Not on this list.
Not him.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Leighton Baines.
Not on the list.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Top 4 with the bookies on this particular site.
Nigel Atkins.
No.
Okay.
On this particular site, I'm not going to name the. We don't advocate for betting, but I do think it is a good barometer of what's out there, because usually football clubs can sort of say, oh, maybe the betters, maybe the betting market should look at this guy, and then surprise, surprise, he turns up. Top 4 on this particular website: Paul Warne.
Oh, the guy that was at Derby, yeah,
is the current favourite.
Right,
Liam Richardson is the previous. Is the second choice. He obviously was Wigan manager and got them up to the Championship the last time they were there. So he could be a good shout. Ryan Lowe is another name, which interesting name for sure. And
yeah, be a good appointment.
The 4th one is Michael Appleton.
See, Michael Appleton's very well thought of, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was Craig Shakespeare's assistant at Leicester. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like some of them. Also, how's this for a little bit of fun? The current interim manager is Glenn Whelan.
Stokes Glenn Whelan. Did he play? He played for Wigan as well, didn't he, Glenn Whelan?
Yeah, I think he did somewhere down the line.
But obviously very well known for his. Who was that team in the Championship or League One he played for right at the end of his career?
Bristol Rovers.
That was it. But very much known for his time at Stoke, Glenn Whelan.
That's true. Okay, moving on to the next one, and we're going to go into League Two. I want to go to the team that we've probably got a little bit less to say about, which is Tranmere Rovers finally relieving Nigel Atkins. I think it was a mutual decision, as I've been led to believe, although that might not be entirely true.
It's usually the official statement, isn't it? If the manager's been let go, by mutual agreement.
Incredibly popular guy from
former Southampton manager.
Good manager as well. I'm surprised it's not. I'm actually more surprised about that. Not that I've followed Tranmere's results that closely, other than seeing Mike Dean's face on Soccer Saturday when he was doing the VAR for the Premier League games, and they take the mick out of him because they lose most weeks. But I didn't I have to admit, and this is bad because we're a football show, but didn't even realise that Nigel Atkins was the manager.
I have to admit, yes, I didn't realise that as well.
Yeah. So.
But a very good manager, and
Wasn't he
it's
Hull City manager as well?
surprised it's
Yeah,
not
for a little bit.
Right.
surprised it's not worked out there anyway.
Yeah. So a little bit of background on Nigel Atkins' time. Obviously, we'll talk about the table. This season, it has not gone very well at all. I would say they are probably most likely or in the worst position of the teams down the bottom, including Morecambe and Carlisle. Because Carlisle have had a recent upturn in form, as we'll talk about. In terms of their next manager, I've got some favourites here.
Any names that we would know?
Can I just say quickly and ask you, George, because you watch a lot more EFL than I do. When we both know Nigel Atkins, is this a classic case of a manager sort of, no disrespect for the Tranmere, but being higher than the level is at, and therefore struggling to get his ideas across because the players aren't as good?
He's been there for quite a while now, or he had been there for quite a while now. Sorry. So I don't necessarily think that it's that they've been incredibly poor this year, and I think that it's time for a change. And if you were to ask me, I think that the squad has lost a lot of quality. I think I'd heard that he'd bombed out quite a few of the players that were first teamers in the previous
Chelsea
season.
Then?
And I keep hearing that he's an incredibly liked guy, but obviously there's quite a lot of tension around Tranmere at the moment in terms of ownership and bits and pieces like that. And I really do think that they're in serious trouble. The man that's taken over from Nigel Atkins is a man with some EFL experience. Andy Crosby, you might remember, he had the Port Vale job for a while
I knew that was coming.
before he was replaced by Darren Moore. Very well known with that Port Vale side because they lost 7-0 on the opening day last season. I want to say.
That's
and then I think they went on an absolutely ridiculous run that saw them shoot up the table, and then they eventually tailed off and obviously ended up getting Darren Moore and sort of scraped to survival in League 2. So Andy Crosby is the current interim. He's also the favourite. He's got EFL experience. He can come in and do a job short term. Would be a very safe appointment. So I feel like that's probably the right way to go.
Well, given that he has EFL experience, then that would probably seem quite likely. I would say. Then
the other three. This is again. Well, in fact, we'll do four because I've already said the first one.
Okay.
Names that we've talked about already. Second favourite, Ryan Lowe. Third
Paul
favourite,
Warne,
Leighton Baines.
One of the favourites?
No.
Okay.
Third favourite, Leighton Baines. Fourth favourite, Michael Appleton. And then fifth favourite is Neil Dans, who obviously played for Tranmere for a while.
It's quite recent, wasn't it, that he played for Tranmere?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Now. But yeah, I think of a change needed to happen. Like we were talking about Wigan in 3-4, but Tranmere are just completely, self-destruct kind of territory. Similarly to MK Dons, who finally sacked Scott Lindsay. Didn't really. I mean, we've seen Scott Lindsay's teams at their best. We were at Wembley, of course, when Scott Lindsay's Crawley beat Lee Bell's Crew
Boo!
in a performance that was men against boys.
I think that's a bit unfair. I thought we it wasn't quite men against boys. We were off it that day, but it wasn't quite that bad.
I'll tell you why we were off it. We were off it because they used the ball better. They used the ball better.
They did.
They used the pitch
They
better.
did. Yeah, oh yeah, they did. They used the space better. They just set up better. But I think to say it was men against boys is a little bit harsh. It
No,
was,
I don't know. I disagree. I think they played like a team and we played like shit. To be honest.
I'm not sure we were that bad. I mean, I suppose the one caveat for that is our best player was our left back on the day. In Rio Adarabizi.
Yeah, sadly not worked out for him, has it?
No,
about different sorts of things.
What's just quickly what's happened to Rio is still at where
he had a long-term freak injury, came back, played one game, got injured for the rest of the season.
Oh, feel bad for us. Bring him back. Oh, next year.
Bring him back. I don't know about bringing him back. Yes. So he's gone. Scott Lindsay, that is. It was a big appointment, really, from them.
Is that two? Sorry, is that two jobs? Because he went up with Crawley. Was he there at Crawley at the start of the season? So he's been sacked twice this year.
Should win a medal for that.
No, he left Crawley. He left Crawley to go to MK Dons.
So he left Crawley to go to a lower division club.
Yeah, but they would have given him. They would have been a bucket of money, I imagine, for him to have that. But yeah, again. They had quite an eye-catching summer. MK Dons. We talked about it.
Mate.
Just recently in January, we saw quite a few of the old Crawley gang reunited. Guys like Danilo Orsi, who scored at Wembley, as we remember, and different things like that. So they've definitely tried. There's a lot of ambition in that team, and for some reason, it's just not seemed to go very well. They've been pretty poor. And I don't know about this one because I was really impressed with that Crawley side, and I felt like with the type of player that they'd added in, I'm thinking about, a big name for us as Crew fans was Luke Offord, who is definitely above the level of League Two. So you look at and that squad is full of absolute quality. And it just makes you wonder why that hasn't necessarily worked out.
I bet Mickey's happy he didn't go.
Well, yeah, I bet he is actually. I bet he's not feeling the pinch about that one at all. Because I feel like it's not the it wouldn't have gone very well, would it? I don't think.
No.
But yes, so I guess there's a couple of questions here again. First of all, the interim manager at the moment is Ben Gladwin, who you might know, lower league kind of journeyman, been with Swindon a lot, is actually an MK Dons player. I've been trying to look for some odds for the next MK Dons manager. I can't see any, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Again. And what about Scott Lindsay? I mean, again, a great coach, and we've seen what he can do. I don't really understand why this one hasn't quite worked out. And also, they've been in free fall for a very long time and performing at a really low level for a very long time. And I don't necessarily understand why they give him the backing in January if they were just going to make this change a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, that's $1 million question, isn't it?
That does seem a bit strange. Yeah.
You see managers, it's like when they sack a manager in the middle of the month in January or the beginning of February or March. It's kind of, what was the point in giving him the money?
Could he have had a row, maybe, do you think, as well?
No, I don't think so. Again, because why back him throughout January?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sometimes these things, they just don't work. And I feel like it's one of them weird ones where he was onto a really good thing at Crawley.
Maybe he shouldn't have left.
And yeah, and it brings up a wider footballing question, doesn't it? Because I think from the other side, with Mike Williamson leaving to go to Carlisle, which is obviously what happened, I think there was a feeling there that he'd kind of lost the dressing room a bit after the fact that they obviously got beat by Crawley in the playoffs by such a massive aggregate scoreline.
We got beat by who did?
MK Dons.
All right, and that was under who? Mike Williamson. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that he left because he felt like that he'd probably jumped before he was pushed.
Well, if he lost the dressing room, then
that's not confirmed. That's my thinking.
Okay,
but
right.
I also
okay.
I really really strongly believe that the Scott Lindsay appointment was probably, they've just gone, who's the best manager out there right now that's similar to this level, that's most likely to come. They've given him a good package. They've said that he can do what he wants to do style-wise. They've backed him with signings, which we've seen, and for some reason it's just not worked out. It's a really interesting...
It also shows you that sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side.
That's the other thing, isn't it? That
True.
That's the other thing for sure.
And that certain football clubs, I mean, look at Nathan Jones at Luton, for example. Luton suited Nathan Jones.
Yeah.
Went to Stoke, went to Southampton, which granted are difficult jobs. Stoke and Southampton with the places they were in at the time, but certain managers just kind of fit. You think of Burnley, you think of Sean Dyche. I know he's not there anymore, but it fits. Bolton with Sam Allardyce. United with Ferguson. There's just fits that just the manager, and sometimes managers can't translate that to another team or translate their ideas or whatever it might be, get the right kind of players in. But yeah, and it's the same for players as well. Luke Offord left Crewe, stable club, gone to MK Dons, and look at what's happened so far. So, and even in my own footballing career, Parashare footballing career, I left my boyhood club, Sale / Man United, Parashare football club, and went to St George's Knights, and while I had a great time there, it was a struggle. So football-wise, so you realise that it's not always plain sailing.
Yeah.
When you leave somewhere that you're comfortable with, I mean, look at Celtic and Ange Postecoglou. They loved him, and now he's been through, all right, not through his own but difficult times at Tottenham Hotspur, where he could do no wrong at Celtic. So and he might come through that. But I'm just saying, there's certain fits for certain managers, and it doesn't always work out. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Are we ready to jump into the EFL?
Oh
Because I
yeah,
think we
yeah.
should.
I'm ready whenever you are.
I think we should stop wasting time and get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
We're actually going to start on a Thursday night with a derby between Barrow and Carlisle, which was won by Carlisle. Mark Hughes' first win after 2 draws to start his tenure. And Matt Dennis with the goal for them.
I believe he was a bit of a menace for Barrow.
Well, probably. If he scored, I would say that's actually pretty true. Um, Moving on from terrible jokes, as we usually have to do with this. Moving on to Friday and the championship game, which saw Sheffield Wednesday host Sunderland. Sunderland got the victory 2-1, and Eliezer Mienda double for the Black Cats. Saw off Chef Wed, Callum Patterson with the goal for them. Moving on into Saturday, and starting off with Valerian Ishmael's first game as Blackburn Rovers manager. It wasn't going so well, to be honest. Emmanuel Dennis was sent off for 2 yellow cards, both of which probably could have been reds, by the way. They were orange cards, as people like to say. Then Norwich took the lead thanks to Ante Cernech before Andy Weinman. I always love hearing his name come up because it just throws me back to that Villa
Aston
team.
Villa, yeah.
Yeah. Andy Weinman popped up in the 96th minute to
That's
save a
late
point
to score. Yeah, 96
for
minutes.
Blackburn Rovers.
Mm.
Also picking up a point was West Brom away at Leeds. Leeds had taken the lead in the 9th minute thanks to Junior Fairpo before Darnell Furlong popped up with the header on the 39th minute. Coventry continued their unbelievable form away
I knew you were gonna enjoy saying that. Carry on.
that Oxford, away at Oxford.
Good on
With a
Frank
3-2.
Lampard for.
No,
Yeah.
don't say Sam doesn't want to hear that. He's shit. He's terrible, Sam said. Cov took the lead thanks to Jack Rodoni before Romani, the sign-in from Eredivisie for Oxford, equalised. Then Ephron Mason-Clark equalised for... No, sorry. Ephron Mason-Clark put Coventry back into the lead thanks to a bit of a goalkeeping howler for Jamie Cumming. If you didn't see this one, a ball up and Mason-Clark actually managed to outjump the goalkeeper, Jamie Cumming. He was coming to claim the ball, and Mason-Clark headed it into the back of the net for 2-1 at the time. Then Elliot Moore equalised for Oxford again before Takumi Sakamoto got the winner for Cov.
Sounds like a brilliant game.
Again, I think that's 8 wins in the last 9. The only game they've lost in that sequence was to Leeds. Cov are in the playoff places now, as we'll talk about. I get the feeling they might stay there as well. I'm saying that very quietly.
Yeah,
Sam will start crying.
I think his bubble will burst.
Ever the
He's so
optimist as
boring.
ever, Sam?
No, I just think he's got a lot to prove, Lamps. We've been through it before, but I think out of Gerrard and Rooney is the best of the 3, but that's not saying much.
See, all 3 have done good jobs. All 3 have done good jobs elsewhere, though.
Not really.
I
I
know Wayne
mean,
Rooney got Derby relegated, but
yeah.
it was
But
very close.
he had a brilliant side at Derby, which should have gone up, Frank Lampard.
Steven Gerrard broke the Celtic
Well,
dominance and got Rangers a league title.
yeah,
He did,
but
yeah.
none of them are world beaters. Let's put it that way. And I just think for Frank, I think he might be the best of the three, but he flatters to deceive a bit as a manager because so far, now I might be proven wrong, and I hope I am, Frank. So that's fine. But I'll be happily.
When Coventry are in the Premier League.
I'll happily be proven wrong. But a look at that Derby side he had. It should have got promoted, that team, and he didn't.
What, against a Villa team that had like Tammy Abraham and John Terry in it?
I still think they should have got promoted.
Sorry about that.
I look at his job at Chelsea. He did first time round very stable, but he was with a lot of young players with no pressure on him. I managed to get top four. He did well to get top four, but as soon as he had decent players and as in bit superstars, he struggled. Everton, I know Everton wasn't easy, but he
to be fair, lots of managers have failed at Everton, though.
Yeah, but he did awfully there. So, and then at Chelsea again, I know the season was dead, but he couldn't get a tune out of them. So
now again,
I just feel that he might get into the playoffs, but he's not got that X factor as a manager. Maybe as a person because of the player he was, but as a manager to get Coventry up into the Prem, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
When they win next week, and we do this show next week, you still say the same thing.
And I hope I'm proven wrong. I know I really do, because I have nothing against him as much as what I'm saying.
But do you not think from how bad they were at the start of the season under Mark Robins to get them to where they are now is an achievement?
No, because they had a good squad. You look at what Mark Robins had done over there.
Yeah,
okay,
they had a good job, but you could argue that Mark Robins is a better coach than Frank Lampard, and they were terrible at the start. So, and if Frank Lampard is supposed to be such a bad coach, he would not have got as good a tune as he has out of them. They are absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, but they've been on the verge of flying for years. So yeah, let's not get
season, not this season though.
Well, those group of players. So let's not. They made an FA Cup semi-final and should have beaten United. So
under a different manager, a better manager.
Yeah, but anyway.
And then they tanked and nearly were like a point away from relegation.
Yeah, but they were like 5 points off the playoffs as well, or whatever. So good start from Frank. You can't from Lampy. You can't.
Don't pretend to be his mate now.
No, it's been a good start, but I just think he'll flatter to deceive. But there we go.
I think that getting into the playoffs with Coventry is an achievement, no matter what.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell. Hope he succeeds.
Moving on, a first win for Matt Bloomfield as Luton manager against Portsmouth.
Happy about that.
Jordan Clark with the goal for them. Big one.
I bet you love it when players called Jordan score.
A big one for them, and also throws the cat amongst the pigeons in the relegation race, as we'll call it. Another manager who I actually think flatters to deceive is Michael Carrick. He got a 1-0 win against Derby.
Is that because he played for United?
No, because he's been at Middlesbrough for ages with probably one of the best squads in the league, and he always chokes the playoff. But there we go. Anyway, they got the 1-0 win at Derby. Finazaz with the goal. He again has got double assists and double goals this season.
I love Finazaz. I know you can't go off FC career modes, but I had Finazaz at Plymouth on my FC24 career mode, and I absolutely loved him because he works so hard, and just a brilliant player. So
Yeah. Also worth mentioning in this game, obviously Derby losing again. It's not quite clicking yet under John Eustace, and I think that's put them at the bottom of the table as well. We are going to look at the table after this. Sheffield United marched on as they have been doing unbelievably well under Chris Wilder. 2-1 away at QPR. Ben Brereton Diaz and a Tyrese Campbell screamer from 25 yards saw off QPR. Michael Frey with the goal from the penalty spot for them, although for QPR that is. Although it is worth mentioning that Frey had the ball in the back of the net a little bit earlier on, and it was called for offside, and I think VAR would have overturned it, in my opinion. But they're not going to put VAR in the champs. There's no point saying that, but
I don't. That's a discussion for another day, and maybe we'll have that discussion another day. But I don't really see why it isn't there already. But there you go.
yeah. And finally, in the Championship, Stoke and Watford drew 0-0. It's quite a shame, to be honest, because I actually thought we'd have a lot more to say about Mark Robins' Stoke, and we haven't had a lot to say about them
There's time
at
yet.
all.
Form is temporary, class is permanent.
Oh, God.
Well,
What else are you going to do?
not
Suck his dick a bit
don't
more?
judge him
Fucking
because he's
hell.
just. I know you worship Mark Robbins, but he might not necessarily succeed.
I think he will. I think he needs time, but I thought we might see at least a little bit of an improvement on results. But
We'll
there
see.
you go. Moving on into League One. First versus second ended the way you might have thought it would. Birmingham beating Wickham 1-0. Taylor Gardner Hickman with the goal. Bit of a weird one. Strike from long range. The goalkeeper gets a hell of a lot out of it. A hell of a lot on it, sorry. He's out of position, he's out of his goal. Gets a massive hand to it, and it sort of bobbles into the net. A bit of a strange one. Xavier Simmons sent off for Wickham as well. Wrexham and Bolton drew 0-0 as Stephen Schumacher continues to do a pretty decent job there. Bolton are up and comers in the playoffs as we
Yeah, I
talk
quite
about.
like Schumacher.
Yeah, me as
I
well.
think he was quite harshly treated at Stoke, to be honest. So, and
But
did
former Crew, so we always like that.
he play for Crewe? Did he?
I think he came through at Crew.
All right, I like him even more.
But he
Go
definitely
on,
did play.
Schumacher.
He definitely did play for us in the sort of 2009-10 sort of era. Barnsley and Lincoln played out an absolute thriller. Barnsley were 3-0 up, thanks to goals from Davis Keylor Dunn, Adam Phillips, and Georgie Gent. And then Lincoln got a goal back on the 67th minute. Tendai Deriqua, that's 3-1. Then Barnsley looked to put a stamp on the game thanks to Max Waters in the 76th. That's 4-1. Followed then by a goal from Rico Hackett for Lincoln and Jevon McCarmer in the 92nd to make it 4-3.
Wow, what a game!
What a game! Has
Rotherham,
shades
go on.
of Newcastle and Forest the other week, but there you go.
Yeah. Rotherham came from a goal down to beat Bristol Rovers 3-2. The first goal was scored by Raul Sotirio within 5 minutes for Bristol Rovers. Then Sam Nombe scored his first. Zach Jules made it 2-1. Sil Swinkles on loan from Aston Villa. What a name, by the way.
What a name! It's like
Made it
the Swinkles to the Sprinkles, anyway.
made it 2-2. And then Sam Nombe again with a 92nd minute winner to make it 3-2. Burton Albion continued their fairly decent form and only managed to drop points thanks to an own goal from one of their own against Mansfield. It was 1-1. Owen Dodson opened the scoring before Ryan Sweeney put through his own net to give Mansfield the draw. 2 wins from 2 for Neil Harris and his director of football, Mark Bonner, against fellow strugglers Crawley. Got an own goal from Kamari Gordon and a goal from Paul Digby, sealed that one.
Lovely to see Crawley struggle.
Both teams had men sent off though. Rashawn Hepburn Murphy for Crawley and James Gibbons for Cambridge. In another important battle down towards the bottom, Northampton and Exeter shared the points 1-1. Dara Costello opened the goal scoring for Kevin Nolan's team before Sonny Cox saved the Grecians. In a playoff battle which saw 6th versus 7th, Charlton beat Leyton Orient, and this one has got some talking points.
Oh, okay.
First of all, the goal for Leyton Orient, my apologies, scored by Brown, was an absolute screamer. If you've not seen it, go find it. Unreal. And they were winning right up until the 92nd minute when Macaulay Gillespie headed in a corner. And then, how about this one for a name that we've not heard for a while? In the 97th minute, Kane Ramsey popped up with a goal. Kane Ramsey, of course, formerly on loan at Crewe for a while. I really liked him. I think, were you the one that liked him as well, Sam, or were you the one that wasn't keen? One of us wasn't keen, I can't remember
I think that might have been Rob.
who. Oh, yeah, it probably was him. Sounds like something he would do. Peterborough come from a goal down to win 3-1 at Shrewsbury. Sorry, they went a goal down. Peterborough beat Shrewsbury. I'll tell you why I thought that in a second. Because John Marquis got the record equaling fastest red card in English football.
Oh,
Within
blimey.
8 seconds, he was sent off for elbowing one of the Peterborough defenders.
Stupid
7 minutes
challenge,
later,
then.
Peterborough took the lead. Teo Eden. Then Mal Benning equalised for Shrewsbury. Then Malik Motherseal made it 2-1. Before in the 99th minute, Chris Clark scored for Posh. That relieves a little bit of pressure on them. Reckon just about safe now, but again, we'll get to it. In an important match again, as they all are at the moment for Huddersfield, they managed to get a 2-1 win away at Stevenage. Callum Marshall and Nigel Longvike with the goals for them, and Brandon Hanlon with the goal for Stevenage. Stockport County relied on an Icelandic striker to bring them from the brink of defeat at Blackpool. Ashley Fletcher gave Blackpool the lead within 7 minutes before God, how the hell do you say this guy's name?
Ooh.
Benoni Brecky Anderson scored his first goals for Stockport to give them the win.
That'll make you feel a bit better, Will.
Yes, I was
knowing
just
that.
about to say well done for making it sound natural.
Similarly, again, another come from behind win. This was the one that saw the end of Sean Maloney. Reading winning 2-1. Wigan took the lead thanks to Jason Kerr in the 59th minute. And then Jaden Wareham and Tyler Binden with the goals for the Royals.
So it's not like that they were absolutely thrashed and they had no choice to get rid of Sean Maloney then. Yeah.
Just quickly, I want to mention that Reading have entered a period of exclusivity with a potential buyer. I've continuously highlighted the Reading issues wherever I've been able to. So yeah, just thought I'd bring that one up, and hopefully it goes through, and we finally.
Their owner, the guy who's been, I can't remember his name, but yeah, he just sounds awful.
Is he a bit of a knob, is he?
I think it's just mismanaged, awful mismanagement. Would you say?
Definitely. Yeah, financial mismanagement and.
Is he one of those owners who's not really a football fan, really?
To be honest, I don't necessarily know what his background is enough to give you an answer for that one, but I know that
Okay.
that the club have been in free fall for quite a while now. There's been a couple of dodgy appointments, and things just obviously haven't been going well.
Right, I
That's been rumbling on because the league were trying to help them, weren't they? The EFL. That's been rumbling on for about 2 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been going on for a very, very long time.
Well, they need to get it resolved. They do.
Right, should we move into League Two to finish things off?
Yep.
So, Bradford continued their unbelievable charge up the table, once again coming from a goal down away at Salford. Francis Okoronkwo, that was a hard one.
Oh,
He
yeah.
gave the Ammies the lead before Brad Halliday and Mickey Mellon sealed the win for Bradford. We haven't talked about Bradford at all recently. They're second in the table. They have been in great form, silently doing great work, slowly sliding up the table.
So potentially they could be heading to League One then.
I really like Graham Alexander, and I have done for a while. So I really do want him to do well, to be honest. So
He didn't do very well at Salford, did he?
No, but not very many have done very well.
Well, yes,
he got them into League Two, so I think he did pretty well.
Did he get them into League Two?
Yeah.
Huh.
There was a share of the points between Tranmere and Port Vale. Christian Dennis with the opener for Tranmere before Ronan Curtis equalised for the Vale. Connor Wood was sent off for Tranmere. Bromley shocked Wimbledon at Plough Lane with a 1-0 win thanks to Corey Whiteley. Share of the points between Cheltenham and Grimsby, 1-1. Ethan Williams with the opener for Cheltenham before Harvey Rogers equalised for Grimsby. It was a great day away in Chesterfield for Crewe.
Up the Alex.
Goals. Well, two fantastic goals in my opinion. One from Shiloh Tracy, and another great solo effort from Max Conway. Before the Chesterfield made it a little bit nervy. 87 minutes in when Declan Duffy scored a consolation for them.
Ooh,
and then in the 93rd
wow,
minute,
yeah.
Omar Bogle passed across for one of our own, Tommy Lowry, to make it back-to-back goals for him and a 3-1 win for the Alex. We're not going to talk, or I wasn't going to talk about any midweek action, but I think it's really, really important to mention that just yesterday, Crew Alex were playing Fleetwood, and there was
I was there.
Yeah, Sam was there, so we'll get Sam's views in a minute. But I just want to explain how I saw it with the benefit of a replay. A bit of a innocuous challenge, pretty heavy. Shiloh Tracy goes down, his legs twisting the other way. At first viewing, it looked like a broken ankle. Some suggestions he's broken his leg. Obviously, as Sam said, he was there. I was also there when we got to watch Louis Barry being stretchered off after he did his ACL against us.
Never nice when the stretcher has to Come on.
And it's pretty brutal, and it's also not great when you can hear either the cracking of a bone or the smashing of a shin pad or
Yeah.
player screaming and crying.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, go on then, Stanley. What were your views on that challenge and your thoughts? Obviously, going out to Shiloh, who we love a lot.
Yeah. The first thing I'd like to say is I have only seen it once, and that was live. I've not seen the replay. Worth noting that I don't think that the Fleetwood number 10 did it purposely. It was a heavy challenge. And my view of it was that Shiloh Tracy was running down the right hand side. There was a ball loose that he ran to try and retrieve. Their number 10 tried to do the same and came back at Tracy to try and get the ball. And then there was just this horrible sound.
So you could hear it, could you then? After, because there'd be lots of noise, obviously, through crowds, chants and stuff.
I don't even like to say it, to be honest, because it was horrible. But you heard the contact, and as I said to the person I was with, watching the match with, I think that was a crack, and it was just to our right, slightly further forward than we were, slightly away from us, but we had a clear view of it. And at first I just kind of went, Shiloh's gone down, but then the reaction of the players, like a few of our players were really upset with this number 10, and the managers looked like they might have a go at each other, and the subs were up. I think more out of fear than anger.
Well, in a moment like that, emotions can take over you.
And then, he was in some serious pain. The medical staff came on, were very quick to come on. And there were players around Shiloh and the medical team, so I couldn't quite see what was going on, but it was clear that he was laying on the ground. They were very, very gentle with his leg, which we all presumed was broken. We hoped it wasn't, but it certainly looked like that from what we'd heard. And there was a 10-minute delay. Shiloh Tracy, they brought the stretcher out. I think they brought the oxygen tank out as well. Maybe Jordan saw that more closely, but there were players around him. I'm pretty sure that they brought the oxygen out. So it was a pretty bad thing, and everyone was just stunned in the ground. I was looking. I think you can always tell it's serious when the opposition players looked upset.
Yes.
And the opposition players looked stunned. So the Fleetwood players. So, and there was a 10-minute delay. They were very careful with Shiloh before taking him off the pitch, and then down the tunnel, presumably to hospital. It just dampened the whole night, really. I think,
Yeah.
I've not heard a noise like that, and it was one of them things that made you send a shiver down your spine, and just everyone went quiet. And then I kind of just looked away because I knew that it was serious. And then obviously when there's players back around him, you look back and pretty serious. I mean, Shiloh's, the football doesn't matter from that point on, really. yeah, it was just a terrible, terrible injury, and I hope he gets, um,
Same
gets better
here.
soon.
Yeah.
The crew fans were singing his name as he was having treatment and then subsequently stretchered off. Yeah, and I very much doubt if we're going to see Tracy back in action
No,
um,
I don't
No.
think
this
so.
season. But I think it is important to remember that, sometimes we watch elite sport and we love our sport, but these guys and girls
They're human
as
at the end
well,
of the day. Yeah.
they there is a risk element to football, and like Jordan said, it was a pretty innocuous challenge. I've not seen it again. I think it had force. I think, but I don't by
Yeah,
any
I
stretch.
think at first glance you're sort of thinking, "Oh God, that was terrible," but then you look at it again and it's a bit of one of those ones.
But I think his leg just, it's about where you position your leg as well and where it ends up. So yeah, best wishes to Shiloh. It actually made me feel a bit upset. I know that sounds
No,
strong, but
I think it's gutting as well. It's gutting for him, and
but
I think
just
there's also
seeing that, being there and seeing that, it'd be the same if it was an opposition player.
well,
It,
if you do you remember Louis Barry?
yeah,
It was
yeah, I was up.
it was the first time I've ever seen a player stretchered off.
And that
Um,
upset me as well. It
well,
did.
I think that one was hard because he was crying, and obviously I wasn't there. I couldn't see how emotional Shiloh was, but I imagine that it wasn't great. But I know
No,
Louis Barry was inconsolable.
yeah, I think for Shiloh, they got round him very quickly, but I think I think he was in a lot of pain.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't say I remember hearing him because I was just so concerned that kind of that moment was just so surreal. But yeah, I don't. Nobody likes to see injuries, and it was one of that nature. It upsets you as a human being to see
Yeah.
that. So get well soon, Shiloh, and
Yep. Same
yeah,
here.
we'll hopefully see you next season, if not before by some miracle. But we'll see.
I can't see it myself, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see, and obviously all the best to Shiloh, of course. Moving on with the show,
Yeah.
Doncaster got a 3-0 win against Newport. 2 goals from Rob Street and a goal from Lee Molyneux. Saw that one. Um, Pretty convincing from Donny, who have had not the best couple of weeks. So they really needed that, I feel. Fleetwood and Notts County drew 2-2. Um, goals for 2 goals for Ryan Graydon, either side of a George Abbott opener for County, and then an Alassana Jatta equaliser in the 89th minute. Gillingham finally got their first win under John Coleman. At Newport, Robbie McKenzie with the goal for them. Not Newport, Morecambe, sorry. Robbie McKenzie with the goal for them. And I'm pleased for John Coleman. You know, some people can say what they want about certain managers, but I think he does a good job. Is he the kind of manager that Preston Johnson and the Gillingham ownership want to get behind? Probably not, but he's definitely the kind of person
So
that can
is
do
he
a
sort of
job.
like a safe pair of hands, sort of?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on to his former club, Accrington, they went to Harrogate and they were beaten 2-0. 2-1, sorry. Oh my god, I'm messing up all the time. Jasper Moon and Josh March with the goals for Harrogate. Josh Woods with the goal for
I
Accrington.
think we'll start calling you Will from now on.
Just making things a lot more interesting down the bottom of League Two yet again. And the game that saw the end of Scott Lindsay was MK Dons versus Colchester. Colchester getting the win in that one thanks to former MK Dons player Jack Payne, who scored an 87th minute penalty. Callum Hendry was sent off for MK Dons in the 92nd minute. And the Ian Holloway revolution continues.
Hey, I'd love to see it.
They beat top of the league Walsall 1-0 thanks to a goal from Joel Cottrell. And that,
Just say who Ian Holloway's side is, Jordan, in case people don't know.
Swindon Town, of course. Swindon Town. Okay, that's the EFL concluded for the moment. I'm going to pass over to Sammy T, and he is going to go through the Premier League and Championship tables. We're going to discuss the current table, permutations, promotion, relegation, European places for the Premier League, etc., etc. So take it away, please, mate.
Yes, thank you, JLI Wheels. Right, well, as we're getting towards the running and the business end of the season, with lots on the line to play for, that's why we are doing these tables, and what teams are, what's at stake, what teams are aiming for, and what teams might be in trouble at the bottom of each league as well. So starting with the Premiership, and we have Liverpool at the top of the table, who have a massive advantage, a double figures advantage, 13-point lead over second placed Arsenal. Just to say that Arsenal did not sign a striker in January and have been struggling for goals, which has given Liverpool the advantage in the title race. So
Yes,
Arsenal
absolutely.
to Liverpool the top with 67 points. Arsenal second on 54. Nottingham Forest, although they've tailed off in the last couple of weeks,
What a season it's been for them.
have
It's fantastic.
48 points from 27 games. Manchester City have played 27 with 47. That's not where they'd want to be. If the Champions League goes to 5 places, which we suspect it will, remember there's a coefficient rule
Yeah, you're
been
right.
in case for the last 2 seasons, depending on how your teams from your country do in Europe, depends on how many Champions League places are available. Last year we got pipped by Germany, but this year it looks odds on to be the English sides getting that 5th spot, and at the moment that belongs to an inconsistent Chelsea, who, despite being inconsistent, are only 1 point behind Manchester City and 2 points behind third place Nottingham Forest. In 6th, we currently have another inconsistent side in Newcastle with 44 points. Then Bournemouth are in currently the last Europa Conference League spot with 43.
Is that not Europa League though? 6 and 7.
And no, 7th is Europa Conference.
Oh, of course, yeah, it's changed, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So 43 points. So anyone from Bournemouth up to Forest, that is very much on for that third spot. And Brighton just behind them are also on the same points as Bournemouth on 43, Fulham on 42, Aston Villa on 42, and Brentford are on 38. So realistically, 11th to 3rd, is separated by 10 points, which is quite incredible.
Yeah.
Then we go into the middle of the table. So we have Villa in 10th, currently Brentford in 11th, Crystal Palace in 12th.
They've picked
Tottenham
up,
Hotspur.
haven't they? They had a horrid start to the season.
Tottenham Hotspur in 13th. Manchester United in 14th. Who would have seen those two
I was
clubs
just about to say that,
languishing down there? West Ham United in 15th. Everton's remarkable rise continues there in 16th. Wolves are still above the relegation zone and have a 5-point cushion over Ipswich
they're not
in
going to go down.
17th. Ipswich are in 18th. Leicester City in 19th and Southampton in 20th. Now, there's a couple of points here I want to raise, and we always start from the top of the table, but I'm actually going to flip it and start from the bottom of the table, and just say that it's a bit worrying for 2 years in a row. Do we think, boys, at the bottom three currently, although it's not done and dusted, although Southampton have 9 points and Ipswich and Leicester have 17, and Wolves on 22. So anyone from Wolves to Southampton, it's 3 from 4 to go down, you'd think. It's a bit worrying that the teams that came up for the second year running look like the teams most likely to go down, don't you think?
Yes.
I actually think that's... Oh, sorry, George, you go first.
No, it's all right, Will. Go on.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually think, I think it's realistic, though, isn't it? You know, the Premier League is a very different beast to the Championship, and some teams are going to, some teams, manage that transition well, and others don't. I mean, if you said to me at the beginning of this season, I thought Leicester would actually be doing better than where they are. The fact that they've had a lot of their players have played in the Premier League before, so they've got that experience. But it's not proved that way.
I mean, just before George comes in on that, I completely disagree with you there, Will.
Okay.
I agree in the sense of, sides that come up are always going to find it hard to adapt, but I think there's a bigger issue here, slightly, potentially. You don't want it to become a theme that the teams that come up from the Championship, you accept that one might go down or two in certain seasons, but I've always thought we've been quite good in this league of we had sides like Swansea that came up and finished 8th, and obviously
even Brentford. Remember when they got promoted, and look at them.
Brentford and
Brighton, Brighton as well.
Brentford and and Brighton and
Villa, Fulham, there's quite a few.
So we've hopefully got not got into a place, I hope, where we got to be careful that we don't let the bottom three become the three sides that and that's nobody's fault. That's no one's fault, but it shows that the gap between the top of the Premiership and the bottom of the top of the Championship and the bottom of the Premiership is the gap between the Championship and Premiership is getting bigger. And that's...
I saw on this point. I saw a hilarious post about people moaning about how bad the Premier League's been this year. And,
I think it's been one of the most exciting.
In response, somebody put, Wolves are 17th, and they've got 3 starting Brazilian internationals in their team, which sums it up. Which I think is Andre,
true. I mean, Brazil,
or one of those. João Gomez is
many
one.
Good players.
Listen, I think the biggest test for your theory, which I don't disagree with either, I'm inclined to agree, but the biggest test as to whether it actually is the case. So it's just been the way it's been the last couple of years.
It's got to be a coincidence. I don't think
It's actually next year's Premier League, I believe. I think, in my opinion, I think it'll be Leeds, Burnley, and Sheffield United that'll come up. In my opinion, man for man,
Well,
at Wembley.
I think Sheffield United, they will probably next season, if they do come up, I reckon they'll be okay. Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, man for man at Wembley, Leeds should have beat Southampton. Obviously, it was a good performance by Southampton, and you can't take anything away from that. In terms of how poor they've been this season,
They've been dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
I really didn't think it would have been that bad, but Ipswich I thought would have struggled a lot more than they have, although they've not looked amazing.
No, but they've looked better than Southampton. I think out of the 3 teams, Ipswich have probably looked.
I agree, although I believe that Southampton play the best football when they're at it, but they're just not at it.
Yeah.
I think Wolves are in no danger. You said you think it's 3 from 4. I think it's 3 from 3, and I think it's the 3 that are currently in the relegation spot.
Well, I agree with that, but a 5-point gap, you'd imagine, is not quite enough. If Wolves get one more win and the other 2 don't win beneath them, or one of them doesn't, then I'd agree. But yeah.
I think personally, what I would do to change each team, if I was Southampton, I would have spent the money to break the release clause for Danny Roll, and I would have brought him in over Ivan Juric, or even Graham Potter, because he's the next player.
Well, do you know, at least Graham Potter's Premier League experience as well, so actually he would have been a really good name.
Correct.
Would have been perfect for Southampton, I think.
For Leicester, I think the worst thing they did was sack Steve Cooper.
Yeah, I don't think we talk about fits, but I'm not sure Steve Cooper is a fit.
The fans didn't like him, and he lost the dressing room, didn't he, Cooper?
I don't think their fans disliked him.
I thought because he used to be Forest
I think
manager.
they didn't like the Forest link, but.
Yeah.
I think that it was hard for him to be accepted by them because he was a Forest manager. I know that much is true.
I thought they didn't like the style of his football as well. I'm
but I also think that you can't argue with it because their head was still above water. You know what I mean? And then Ruud van Nistelrooy's come in, and they've just offered absolutely nothing.
Well, yeah, he's done absolutely nothing, hasn't he?
But then again, at the same point, what if you are these relegation-threatened teams? What do you do? They got rid of Russell Martin around about January. There's is it 11 games to go in the Premier League?
Must be now, yeah.
I've got the table up here. For most teams, it's 11 games to go. For some, it's 10.
Right, so there's between 11 and 10 games to go.
Depends on the competitions, doesn't it, that they've got.
Realistically, based on the fact that Southampton have 9 points, aka 3 full wins, although I know that I think they only won 2 games. I don't think they've won 3, have they? I think they've
won the table here, and it says they've won 2.
They've won 2 and drawn the other.
Yeah.
I think
1, 2 and drawn 3 it would be.
Yes.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah,
I've got the table here, and yes, 1, 2, drawn 3. Yeah,
I'm sorry to say, but I think there's no point in them changing their manager. They are already down. That being said, again with the way
I thought Juric would have had a bit of a new manager bounce, but it just hasn't happened, has it at all?
I told you I wasn't keen on that appointment. I told you I really didn't think it'd go well, and it hasn't. So
yeah, you're right.
The most likely, I think, to change manager is Leicester again, which is ridiculous. I don't think they will.
There's no point. They should just stick with Ruud until the end of the season now.
Yeah, but as Sam said, it's a 5-point gap, and it doesn't look likely. But 5 points isn't a lot, especially when you're a team down the bottom that isn't winning.
Well, then, if they're certain to go down,
and if
then they
I,
might
and if
Yeah,
I,
I think you're
benefit
right
themselves.
because whatever happens, Ipswich aren't going to get rid of Kieran McKenna. So
No, they
and
seem to be
also,
going in a really
can
good
I just check
direction with
something?
him.
It's Wolves on 22 points, and then West Ham on 30, right? Is that correct?
Wolves on
West Ham on
22.
33.
Then Everton on 32. So there's a 10-point gap between Wolves
Right.
and Everton.
So yeah. Okay. My belief is 3 from 3, but 3 from 4, and I definitely think the most likely to make a change that could see that could see something happen that's positive is probably Leicester, but I don't think they'll do
I
it.
agree. They're the most likely because Southampton aren't going to do it again,
No.
and Wolves have done it, and Ipswich just aren't. Whatever happens with Kieran McKenna, they're not going to do it. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so then let's move up towards the European places,
So
Yes.
right?
yeah, so I'm going to narrow this down.
Okay.
We've spoken a lot about United and Tottenham, and although they're big clubs, they're out of the European race
Oh,
for
yeah,
me.
they're
So,
absolutely
so
not going to get up there.
unless of course either one of them win the Europa League, but that's for another day.
Yes.
So for me, I'm gonna split this from Crystal Palace, who have 36 points.
38.
Um,
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, yeah, 36. Yeah, that's right.
36 points, and right up to Nottingham Forest, who have 48 points, but Brentford. So yeah, so it's an unbelievable race for Europe that from third to 12th there is only 12 points
So
between
that's
them,
not a lot then.
which
You see it as third to 12th. I see it as third to 10th, in my opinion.
well, I only say that because Palace are on a good run at the
Well,
minute.
Palace are unreal at the moment.
They are in a really good direction at the
So
moment.
I think it will be unfair.
But they were in a bit of a false position anyway. I think
They were,
that team is an upper mid-table
they
team.
were, but yeah, I will go from third to 12th. That's the race for the European places.
Okay.
So with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Nottingham Forest, for me, no, and sorry, let me start that again. I think you're right in a sense that not all of those teams near the top are gonna have a drop, but I do think the race for Europe is very interesting. And the race for the Europa places, albeit the Europa League or the Europa Conference League, which would probably go from, you'd imagine Liverpool, Arsenal, City are definitely going to get Champions League football. But, beneath, and we'll come to Forest in a minute, but beneath that, Chelsea, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, Villa, and if you want to put Brentford and Palace into that as well, then that is an incredible race for that Europa League. And we talk about, I want to come to Jordan on this, we talk about how dangerous that the bottom three being the bottom three consistently that come up, but I think the race for Europe is one of the most exciting that I've seen in a long time.
Well, I've been saying it for a while that I think the bigger issue for the relegated for the promoted championship teams is that the gap between um mid-table and European places is getting smaller and smaller. I mean,
Yeah,
uh, in my opinion, it's between 10th and 3rd for Champions League. I think if I had to name a top four, I think it'd be Liverpool, Arsenal, City.
And then maybe Forest in fourth, maybe.
no,
I think they're dropping off.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to say my instinct is Chelsea, and that's not bias wise. But
yeah,
what stops me from Chelsea is like that run that we had where everybody was losing and we were winning and we were second in the table.
Yeah.
I think is enough to secure us European football.
Cole Palmer banging in goals a lot of the.
Except he's not anymore, is he? He has gone cold, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that we will get European football. I think it relies on a couple of
I
things.
think they'll get the Europa League certainly.
I think Brighton are unbelievable at the minute. I think Newcastle are one of the strongest teams in the league when they're at it. They're just too inconsistent.
Yeah, and they need to keep
So I don't
Isak
know.
fit as well.
And I'm not just saying this because they've had a couple of bad results recently. But I do think that Forest will drop out of Champions League. I'm going to put Chelsea there because that's what my head is saying.
Okay.
But it's begrudgingly because I don't know. I think Newcastle are an equally risky bet to
yes.
place in the top four.
So, just to push us on a bit, George, I'm going to give you out of to going from 12th upwards, who you think your top 7 will be in order at the end of the season.
Okay, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest. I think
Yeah,
that takes us to what?
6th.
Sixth.
So you've got one more. More.
I think I'm going to put Brighton there.
So Brighton will finish in the last European.
I think.
Well,
And then obviously bottom 3 just for the hell of it. I think Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester.
Okay.
Or Leicester, Ipswich.
Well, in order your top 7, so for the European places, please.
Yeah, right. So I think so of course, yes, obviously Liverpool are going to win the Premier League. So Arsenal, let's see, I think Forest, because City are not so good defensively. Chelsea, I think, will probably finish maybe 6th, maybe. So let's see. So Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, City. Let's see. I think Newcastle in 5th and Chelsea 6th. And then.
And who's getting that last European spot?
I think. I think it's gonna be so. Right. So 5th and 6th. That's Europa League, right? Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your last European spot by the league, who's that going to?
I think Chelsea. Yeah, Newcastle in 5th, Chelsea 6th.
And 7th?
7th. Yeah, I think where Bournemouth are now. I think. Yeah.
Right. Okay, interesting, because Jordan didn't have Bournemouth in his top 7.
Well, I just
Somewhat,
think
man.
Chelsea, you can't really rely on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's so difficult with that because the two teams in the best, well, the three teams in the best position, I think, are Forest in third, and then Newcastle and Chelsea in fifth and sixth, or well, other way around, I think, in it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the
that's
reason
where
I
I
say they're
went
in
for. So yeah, Newcastle fifth, and then
the
Chelsea
reason that I say they're in
sixth.
good positions is Forest can afford a downturn,
Yes.
and 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 obviously Chelsea, and then I want to say Chelsea and Newcastle. The reason that I was apprehensive with Chelsea and Newcastle is, and Bournemouth as well, is that you don't know what Newcastle are going to do, and you don't know what Chelsea are going to do.
Yeah. Well, Newcastle,
No,
they're very up
You
and down,
you
aren't
could
they?
also, the thing that we didn't just touch on at all is you could also put Villa in a European place.
But I think Villa, from playing in the Champions League, I think in terms of the Premier League position, that might take its toll.
and just to let
It's
you know,
already done that though, hasn't it?
just to let you know, they've played a game more than the teams around them.
Right. Okay. That does make a bit of a difference then. It was a real big toss up in my head between Bournemouth and Brighton. I'm going on instinct with a lot of these things.
Well,
So
for me, I think the table will
yeah.
mostly stay the same, but Newcastle will finish fifth and Chelsea sixth. That'll be the
Okay.
difference.
Let's assume for me that the top four gets you into Champions League because we don't know. So I'm just going to assume that's. But we'll go on that assumption.
Yeah.
So for me, your top four are Liverpool will be top. That's an easy one. Liverpool will finish top. City will finish second.
Oh,
We'll
okay,
jump up
that's
to
bold.
second. Arsenal will finish third. And Newcastle United will finish fourth. Chelsea will finish fifth. Nottingham Forest sixth. And Bournemouth seventh.
Okay, interesting.
I just think that Arsenal not having a striker will struggle in the last few games, and I think City are still capable of putting that run together and finishing second in the league.
I don't think so this season.
I mean,
On
I think so.
paper, I'd say yes.
Because there's only a 47. There's only a 7-point gap between City and Arsenal.
And Arsenal have still got to play. They've still got to play United.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still got to play Liverpool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I agree, I'm inclined to agree. I think
So
I kept City where they were purely because it's a 7-point gap and you never know.
yeah.
But if I was to be honest, I'd say I think that because I think City are too caught. People that watch the Premier League are too caught up in how bad City were and also how bad they also were against Liverpool and Arsenal to think about the fact that apart from that, since the Manchester derby, they've the only games they've lost is games against Liverpool and Arsenal.
And the Brentford one, wasn't it? They drew with Brentford, I think.
A draw isn't a loss, is it?
No, that
No.
is true.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I just want to get one more from you lads while we're here.
Okay.
Your prediction for manager of the year?
Probably gonna be Nuno Espirito Santo, I think. Yeah.
Honest lot.
My head says My heart says Nuno. My head says Slot. I hope they give it Nuno. But if they get into Europe, but
I think the football romantic wants it to be Nuno, but the football realist looks at first season in the league title and says Arne
So
Slot.
George, here's a question for you. Forest finish in the top 4, Champions League, and don't drop off, and Liverpool win the league. Who gets manager of the season if Forest get Champions League football?
What do you think?
My head still says Slot,
You're still saying Slot, exactly, and me too.
But I hope he wouldn't in that case.
I think that the other thing that you've got to look at is that Jurgen Klopp had basically the same players last season, and they still finished below City. And yeah, all right,
Forest.
all right. City have had a drop off, but Liverpool have been almost untouchable all season.
But if Forest get in the top 4, so did Forest. Forest had the similar players last season.
And that would be the first time in years that Forest would be.
It depends how they vote. It depends how they vote in it. I just think, and I know that you think the same. I think there's no way they don't give it to Slot.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's his first year and he won it.
Yeah,
I could see both points of view. Yeah.
You could make arguments for Nuno at Forest. You could make arguments for Areola at Bournemouth. You could make an argument for Hurstler at Brighton if they get European football. You could make an argument for Marco Silva at Fulham because of how good they've been.
For you, Will?
Manager of the season, I think.
Who they will go for?
Well, I suppose because Nuno will make history if, Forest, be back in the European places for the first time in a long time. But then equally, Slot in his first year, taking over, coming to a new league and winning the Premier League straight off, would equally be manager of the season. Oh, do you know, the realist in me, yeah, it probably is going to be Slot.
Okay, that's all good. That'll conclude our Premiership. What we think will happen. It's surely going to be an exciting race at both ends of the table from now till the end of the season, as the running gets underway.
I mean, this is crunch time, isn't it, now, really? Yeah.
Thank you for your opinion on that, boys. I will just get the championship table up for you now.
Yeah.
Another table league that never fails to disappoint. If you think the Premier League's tight, well, the Championship for excitement is the best league in the world. I think for pure,
completely agree.
Yeah.
Pure excitement. So I'll just read you through the standings before anything, and this is we have this is as it stands right now. At the minute, Leeds the top of the table, played 35 games, 76 points. Sheffield United played 35 games, 73 points. Burnley played 35 games, 71 points. Sunderland played 35 games, 65 points. Coventry's rise under Frank Lampard continues. 35 games, 53 points. West Brom make up the final place in the top 6 right now, 35 games, 52 points. Then just behind them, Bristol City, 35, 52 points. Blackburn on 52 points. In 8th, Middlesbrough in 9th on 50 points. Watford on 10th, having a good season in my opinion, on 49 points. Norwich 11th, 48 points. Then a slight drop off to Millwall on 45 points. Sheffield Wednesday on 45 points. QPR on 44. Preston on 43. Swansea in 16th on 41. Portsmouth in 17th on 39. Oxford on 38 in 18th, Hull in 19th on 36, Stoke in trouble in 20th on 36, Cardiff are in 21st on 36, then a big drop off to Luton Town in 22nd on 31, and Plymouth have played 35 games as well, and they are on 30 points in 23rd, and bottom of the table is Derby County on 29 points. So let's start this league at the top. So for those of you that don't know, we'll do the promotion race first. The top 2 in the championship go up, then 4th to 6th place is the playoffs, and the winner of the playoffs over 2 legs, a 2-legged semi-final.
Third to 6th.
Sorry, third
to 4th.
Alright. And top 2 go up, then 3rd to 6th is the playoffs. So 4 teams play, and two get paired with the other 2, and then in the semi-final over 2 legs. And then there's a final, and the winner of the final goes up to the Premier League in what is the biggest game, the most lucrative game, the Championship playoff final in football, in English League football. So, right now, we have Leeds and Sheffield United occupying the promotion places. Defensive masters Burnley are just behind them in 3rd on 71 points. So I'll read that out again. Leeds on 76, Sheffield United on 73, Burnley on 71, Sunderland on 65. We'll go to there. So do you think the top 2 is going to come out of those 4 teams? Because then there's a drop off to Coventry on 53.
I'll go first with this. I'm gonna say I think it's 2 from 3.
Okay.
I think that Sunderland are a good team, but they're just that little bit inconsistent for.
They had such a good run, didn't they? And then they've just
they dropped points in some silly games,
right.
And I think that takes them out of it.
Okay, interesting.
I think you might as well call Leeds United champions now. I really do think.
I think that's a bit premature. There's only 3 points between Leeds and Sheffield United.
Five points between Leeds and Burnley, and I really, really don't see Leeds dropping. No. I don't see Leeds losing more than 1 or 2 more games.
So you think maybe not champions secured, the automatic
promotion secured. Sorry.
Yeah.
Promotion secured for sure.
Yeah.
I think
even though we know the nature of the championship.
Yes. I think that the current top 4 will stay as it is, although I think that it could, I think it will be a top 4 of Leeds, Sheffield United, Burnley, and Sunderland. Maybe not in that order, but I do think that will be the top four. Fifth and sixth, I think, is really difficult because West Brom have been in a good place for a while, but have dropped points.
Well,
Coventry,
let me give you something that might help. From, are we saying the playoff race from West Brom in sixth, right the way down to, in fact, you might even put Coventry
well,
in that.
I would, I
Coventry
would,
in Coventry in fifth, right down to Norwich in 11th could still go either way.
yeah. So again, without using the heart scenario, I think the heart scenario would have liked me to have gone all the way down to 13th with Sheffield Wednesday, but I think that the realistic one is Norwich in 11th, upwards to Cov in 5th. I think if Coventry can continue on the way they have, I think they are secure. Um, there's a couple of ones for me, and that is how quickly Valerian Ismail adapts his style to Blackburn Rovers, in which case they're a great shout. Bristol City performing very well, but I don't think they've got the legs. To be honest, I think the final spot, I'm pretty big on Coventry, as we know. I think it is realistically.
West Brom.
I think it's realistically 2 spots between Watford, Middlesbrough, Blackburn, Bristol, West Brom, and Cov. I
I
think
agree.
Norwich. I think Norwich are a great team, but they're not consistent enough. So I'm going to strike them out straight away. Same about Watford, really, but I do think they should be included as they're only 3 points off it. I think realistically it's between Middlesbrough, Blackburn, Bristol City. Oh, I think will drop off, so strike them out. So Middlesbrough, Blackburn, West Brom, and Coventry for me.
Okay, and while we're here, your top six is
My top six is Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United to go up through the playoffs,
Oh, okay,
Sunderland,
interesting.
Coventry, Middlesbrough.
okay. And Will,
And I know
obviously
that's a controversial one, but
we've established that Norwich, going from Norwich up to Coventry, realistically is where we're at in terms of the playoff race. But what's your view?
Well, I think West Brom will probably move to fifth, so Coventry maybe may move to sixth, I reckon. I think it's really interesting, George, that you thought Sheffield United to finish in the playoff places. Obviously, Chris Wilder has managed in the Premier League before, very experienced, and to both Sheffield United, he knows how to get the job done. So I've no doubt they're going to be second. And I think that the table will stay the way it is. I think, yeah.
So you don't think any of the teams currently just outside the playoffs, from Norwich to Bristol City, are capable of getting into the top six?
Not really in my view. Yeah.
Okay.
don't forget as well. It's there's 4 points between Norwich and West Brom, 5 between Norwich and Cov.
Yeah.
There's
So
not a lot in
that's
it
not a lot.
at all.
That's why I'm saying he is sticking where you are.
I
I think
think.
it's a safe bet, Will. I
Okay.
think it's a safe bet to stay where you are.
I think Yeah, I'm going to stay where I am, but the only change would be West Brom in 5th, Coventry in 6th.
Right. Okay. And
There we go.
who's gonna go up for the playoffs? Well,
Oh,
according to you, that'll be between Burnley, Sunderland, West Brom, and Coventry.
probably be Burnley. Yeah,
I
Right.
agree.
I think, yeah,
Well,
Scott
I think they're
Parker.
going to get automatically promoted, but there you go.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, for me, top 6. Sorry,
There we go.
top 2. For me,
Coventry to miss the playoffs.
You can
for
see it.
me,
He's gonna say it.
for me, Leeds champions promoted.
Yeah.
Burnley second
Ooh,
promoted.
okay, that's interesting.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Playoffs. He's deep in thought.
Sheffield United third.
And promoted or not?
I'll come to that in a minute.
Surely
Sheffield
they're
United.
going to get
Sheffield,
back up with Chris
Sheffield
Wilder.
United third. Coventry fourth.
Oh.
Okay.
So hang on. You think that Coventry are going to make up a 12-point gap between them and Sunderland?
Oh, hang on, I forgot it was 12 points. No, I don't. Let's go. Let's go. So I said Leeds and Burnley to get promoted, yeah?
Yeah, Leeds and Burnley, Sheffield United.
Yeah,
Sheffield United third.
Yeah.
Sunderland fourth.
So where they are, yeah.
Coventry fifth.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where they are.
Here's the kicker. Does he take a risk and go for an outsider?
Let's see.
Or does he play it safe?
It's going to be interesting.
And go with West Brom.
Middlesbrough sixth.
Oh, okay.
He's gone for a risky one.
Yeah, there's my top 6.
Even though, Carrick seems to be...
and out of the playoffs, I think Sunderland will get promoted.
Over Sheffield United?
Yeah.
Chris Wilder, very experienced manager, managed in the Premier League, veteran.
I just think
on his knees for Chris Wilder.
I just think that that whatever team I just think if Sunderland get in the playoffs, which they will win the playoffs. I've just got a feeling, so I'm going with my hunch. Right,
Yeah.
well, all very interesting there. Right, let's move on to the relegation battle before I hand over to JLA Will to take you through League 1 and League 2.
Yeah.
Let me just work out where to go from. It's 4 that get relegated, yeah? From the
3. Shall I give you my thoughts?
Hang on, let me just say where we're going from. I think.
So 22 to 24.
I think we'll go. Is it fair to go from Portsmouth down? Or is that too far? What do you think?
I think that's slightly unfair, but
Where would you?
What about 18th? 18th.
I think it's 3 from 5.
So you go from Hull.
3 from 6.
You go from.
I'd go from Hull down to Derby.
Right. Okay, we'll do that then.
In my opinion,
we'll do that.
you could make a case. You could make a case for Oxford and Portsmouth, although I do think that they're both safe in my own head.
For the purposes of this, we'll go from Hull. That's an executive decision.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go from Hull in 19th. So I'll just reread you the table. Hull 19th, 36 points. Stoke 20th, 36 points. Cardiff 21st, 36 points. Then a massive drop off to Luton on 31 points. Plymouth on 30 points, and propping up the table is Derby. So Hull have had a bit of a revival recently, and anything can happen in the final weeks when teams get desperate and we see all sorts of results and pressure at both ends of the table start to take its toll. So I'm going to come to Will first.
Okay.
And say, so 3 teams go down. So looking at that table, Will, which I know you've got in front of you, from Hull downwards, who do you think will go down?
Okay, I think, well, Derby County definitely. They've really struggled. Plymouth, yeah, they've not really had a new manager bounce, have they, as such?
Beat Liverpool 1-0 in the FA Cup.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, yeah, but that's the FA Cup. That doesn't really count in this case. Now let's see. Luton. This is where it gets a little bit tricky.
It's interesting that, Will, because you're saying Derby are down and they're only 2 points behind Luton.
Derby and Plymouth, I definitely think are both down. It's who joins them.
But then there's only a point between. You're saying they're definitely gone, and there's only a point between Plymouth and Luton.
Well, they've just been so poor. I just think there's no saving them.
Right. Okay.
Oh, who would be in 22nd? Let's see. Oh, do you know? Yeah, okay. Table to stay where it is, and those are the 3 that are going down.
What, a cop out again?
Well, no, I just think I can't see Stoke going down. I can't see Cardiff or Hull, and so yeah, that's where I've gone to Luton.
I'll tell you what. I'll defer my answer until Sam's done his. What do you think?
Yeah. Right, is Mr. Cop Out finished, Jerry, hasn't he? So after all, you know what? You're like, oh, it's so hard. So
Well,
then you just stick to the 3.
It was hard, and then finally I had to make up my mind, and yeah.
Okay. I think it's difficult. It's really difficult. I think Derby will go, finish bottom. I think Luton will go and finish second from bottom.
Right.
And I think Oxford will go and Plymouth will survive.
Oxford are in. Well, that's wow. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Oxford are 8 points off it.
Yeah.
Wow. 7 points. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big swing. Okay. So I think Plymouth and Derby go down. Luton stay up. And this is where I don't know.
I think one of that bottom 3. Stoke going down.
I think one of that bottom 3 survives. I think the most likely to go down is Plymouth.
Yeah, they've been absolutely poor, haven't they?
I think that Derby.
I like that manager.
Yeah, I do too.
Doesn't excuse their form, though.
they're pretty abject. I think that Derby will have an upturn under Eustace, but I don't think that's enough to save them. To be honest,
So you're going Plymouth, Derby.
Plymouth Derby, and my instinct, this will get me absolutely murdered, but I
Stoke.
think most likely it's Stoke.
Oh.
Really? See,
But I really don't know.
Stoke,
I
you know,
think that
been in the Championship for so many
I
years.
thought my choice was going to be controversial, but Oxford is a mad one.
I just think they might drop off.
Ah, yeah. See, I think it's really weird because I don't know what it is about Cardiff when like they just seem to do enough. I think Hull are in absolutely no danger.
I disagree with you.
Um,
I don't think Stoke are gonna go down.
I think Oxford and Pompey are safe.
Yeah, th- they will be.
Um, I think I knew it's going to be controversial, but I can't believe you're not making a bit more of the Oxford show. But there you go. Um,
Well, no,
but yeah, I
to be
think
honest, because Stoke are a sort of
I
Championship
just know
veteran.
there's always a team that appears safe and then slip at the end in the Championship, and I just feel Oxford might be that team. Might be
yeah, but to
wrong.
be fair, I can't see. I don't. I think I've got a really strong feeling that one of the bottom three will survive, and I think the most likely is Luton. Although I think Derby could have a shout. I think Plymouth, in my head, Plymouth are gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a really difficult one. That, yeah, like if we didn't have to do this for this video that we're doing or this episode, I wouldn't make that call because I think it's really tight.
Well, there are decisions for the Premiership and Championship. We'll see. We'll probably all get proven wrong and have egg on our face.
Yep.
With all of those predictions, other than maybe Liverpool winning the league, I think we can kind of safely say, and I'll say it on record now,
Yes.
that I think Liverpool are going to win the league. Unfortunately. Right. Well, feel free to get in touch, on the Championship and the Premiership that we've discussed. But
Yeah.
now I'm going to hand you back over to JLI Wheels for the League One and League Two standings.
Right. Okay. We're going to jump straight in with top of the table, Birmingham City with 76 points. Second place Wickham with 67. Third place Wrexham with 65. Fourth place Stockport with 61. Fifth place Charlton with 59. Sixth place Huddersfield with 58. Seventh place Bolton with 57. Eighth place Reading with 54. Ninth place Leyton Orient with 53. 10th place Barnsley with 52. 11th place Stevenage with 47. 12th place Lincoln with 46. 13th place Blackpool with 45. 14th place Rotherham with 44. 15th and 16th respectively with 40 points Wigan and Mansfield. 17th and 18th respectively with 38 Peterborough and Northampton. 19th with 37 Exeter. 20th with 36 Bristol Rovers. 21st with 33 Burton Albion. 22nd and 23rd respectively with 29 points each Cambridge and Crawley, and bottom of the table with 28 Shrewsbury Town. So
I'm right in thinking that 3 go down, right? Or was it
four go
4?
down.
4, sorry, yeah, because 4
So
go on.
again,
Yes.
we'll
21
start
to
with the playoffs.
24th is relegation. Yeah.
We'll start with the playoffs, and in my opinion, playoffs is 10th place Barnsley with 52 to second place Wickham with 67. Now, the gap, I say that because the gap between 10th place Barnsley and 6th place Huddersfield is 6 points.
Yeah, I agree. And the gap between Wickham and Birmingham is too big. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I'll start with mine, being the League One and League Two guy.
Yes, that makes sense.
My top two is going to be Birmingham and Wrexham.
Okay.
Wrexham in third place. My top 6 is going to be Wickham, Stockport, Charlton, and Bolton.
Okay.
I think Huddersfield will miss out. And before we go to relegation, I'll hand it over to the boys. We'll start with you, Will.
So, I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think Wrexham in second. Charlton Athletic in. So Wrexham in
Third.
second. Charlton Athletic maybe third. And Huddersfield Town maybe in fourth. And fifth would be
Okay.
Bolton.
Right. Still not mentioned Wickham Wanderers, who are currently second and 2 points above Wrexham on 67.
Oh yeah, well in that case then Wickham would. My prediction is they'll miss out.
Ooh.
Okay. Interesting. On the playoffs or on promotion?
On promotion.
Okay. So where are you putting them? 6th?
So okay, I think. No, actually,
you've taken out.
I'm gonna put them in 7th. Wickham.
All right. So I'll tell you where we are now. So
Okay.
you've gone Birmingham first, Wrexham second, Charlton third,
Yes.
Huddersfield fourth,
Yes.
Bolton fifth.
Yes.
Still no mention of Stockport County, who are currently in fourth. And you also think?
Yeah, I think they'll probably miss out altogether.
So who's having
missing out altogether?
Stockport.
So who's having that 6th spot?
Wickham Wanderers. Yeah, I'm gonna move them to 6th. Yeah.
You just said they'd miss out.
I did, and then I thought, yeah, no, they'll be 6th for me.
Okay, and who will go up via the playoffs?
I didn't answer that. Hang on now. Let me do my answer first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Bolton Wanderers.
I think Charlton.
Great shout. Come on then, Sammy.
Right. So the top 2 get automatically promoted, yeah?
Correct.
So,
Third until 6th.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Yeah. Same as the championship, right? So Birmingham are going to win the league. I think that's pretty nailed on, barring a complete catastrophe. I'm going to go Wickham in second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Wrexham in third.
Yep.
I'm going to go Charlton in fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Huddersfield in 5th. You going for?
Still no Stockport either.
Huddersfield in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say Bolton?
No, you've not said Bolton
No, you've
or
not said
Stockport
Bolton.
yet.
So you said Charlton 4th, Huddersfield 5th.
No, I don't think that. Actually, I think Charlton 4th.
Yeah.
Bolton 5th.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And Stockport 6th.
So Huddersfield miss out.
Huddersfield miss out, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Okay. Right, that was very
And
interesting.
hang on, my playoff winners are Wrexham.
Okay.
Playoff winners. Playoff winners are. Well, did you say who your playoff winners are?
Yes, I said
Charlton.
Charlton.
Yeah, Wrexham. Yeah.
Right. So, just to confirm, for Sam, Birmingham and Wycombe promoted with Wrexham playoff winners. For Will, Birmingham and Wrexham promoted with Charlton playoff winners. And for
Yes.
me, Birmingham and Wrexham promoted with Bolton
Yes.
playoff winners. Down at the bottom, I think that it is 4 from 7. And
Where are we going down to? Bristol?
Sorry, 4 from 8. That's going to be, that's
So
Peterborough,
21st to
Northampton.
24th, sorry. Yeah.
No, 17th.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Relegation is it? Yeah.
Right, sorry.
I'm going from 17th to 24th.
Right.
Peterborough and Northampton have 38 points each. Exeter have 37. Bristol Rovers have 36. Burton Albion have 33. Cambridge and Crawley have 29. And Shrewsbury have 28. So, my honest opinion again is that one of the current bottom 4 make it out.
Okay.
Oh, it's 4. I forgot it was bloody 4.
And I think that there's a strong case for Cambridge, but the strongest case is for Burton Albion. So I think Burton Albion come out, and I think Bristol Rovers get relegated. In my opinion.
Okay.
So your bottom 4 would be?
My bottom 4 would be Shrewsbury, Crawley, Cambridge, Bristol Rovers.
Okay. Well,
I think Crawley Town definitely to go down. Burton Albion. I'm gonna say Exeter City. So that's 3. So I need one more.
So you think, hang on, you think Crawley, Burton, Exeter?
Yes, and Bristol Rovers.
And Bristol Rovers.
Yes.
So you think Shrewsbury at bottom of the table with 28 points, and Cambridge 22nd with 29 escape?
Yes.
Okay. What makes you think that?
he doesn't know.
Well, I'm just going for a stab in the dark. It's my prediction. So. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
It could be wrong.
I like that,
it
though.
could be wrong, but that's my prediction.
Bold. I like it. Bold. Sammy.
You can't do it both ways. You say sometimes I'm too safe, and then I've gone for a bold one.
Yeah, but you've got no reasoning behind it.
Make your bloody mind up.
Carry on.
So for me, Shrewsbury go.
Yeah.
Crawley go.
Yeah.
To your delight.
Yes. Bristol Rovers go.
Yeah.
And Burton Albion go.
So, in your opinion,
Cambridge will survive.
In your opinion, it's Shrewsbury, Crawley, Burton Albion, Bristol Rovers, and Cambridge survive.
Yes.
Interesting. Like that one.
Yeah.
Like that one. Okay. Moving on.
Yep.
To League 2. And we'll start, of course, from the top. Walsall first with 68 points. Bradford second with 66 points. Doncaster third with 61. Notts County fourth with 58. Wimbledon and Port Vale fifth and sixth respectively with 57. Crewe seventh with
Right.
55. Grimsby eighth with 53. Bromley ninth with 51. Colchester and Salford 10th and 11th respectively with 49 each. Fleetwood 12th with 48. Cheltenham 13th with 46. Swindon 14th with 45. What a job Ollie has done. Newport 15th with 43. Chesterfield 16th with 42. Barrow 17th with 40. MK Dons 18th with 39. Gillingham 19th with 38. Harrogate 20th with 37. Accrington 21st with 36. Tranmere 22nd with 30. Morecambe 23rd with 29. And Carlisle 24th with 27.
Now, I'm right that only 2 go down because 2 come up.
Two go down.
Because 2 come
Two
up
go
from.
down. 3 go up automatically, and 1 goes up during through the playoffs. I'm gonna go
Hang
ahead.
on. 2 go down, yeah.
2 go down. 3 go up automatically, and 1 goes up through the playoffs.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my hottest take out of the way.
Okay.
I don't think that Crewe finish in the playoffs.
Right.
And that breaks my heart to say.
Well, I didn't expect us to this season anyway. So.
Neither did I.
So go on. Who we having it between for the playoffs? By the way.
Okay, let me just I've just wanted to get that out of the way. So let me start with my top 3 automatically promoted.
Well, can we say who it's? All right, between
Yeah,
right.
yeah, okay, so let's do that. In my opinion, playoffs is between Doncaster in 3rd on 61 and Fleetwood in 12th on 48. The gap between Crewe, I say that because the gap between Crewe and Fleetwood is
It's quite
7
large, isn't
points.
it? I mean, Fleetwood Town 48.
7 points.
Crew 55.
So that's my opinion. My opinion is it's between 3rd and 12th.
Okay.
I think that there is, but no, let's change that. I think between 3rd and Port Vale in 6th, there is 1 automatic promotion spot for grabs.
Okay.
My personal opinion is a top 3, sorry, of Walsall, Bradford, and Notts County taking over Doncaster.
Right.
My top 7 is Doncaster, Wimbledon, Port Vale, and Grimsby.
Okay.
With Crewe finishing 8th.
Right.
Which breaks my heart. So, I'll tell you what, we'll go to Sam next.
I'm just looking because there's a variable amount of games that people have played.
First of all, do you think that from 4th to 12th is fair enough? I know there's 10 points.
Didn't you say from 3rd to 12th?
I did, but I've changed that.
Right, okay.
So there's 10 points between Notts County and Fleetwood, but at the same time, as I said, there's only 7 points between Crewe and Fleetwood. So I think 4th to 12th.
Yeah.
Oh no. 5th to 12th maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. Who's your top 3 first of all?
Walsall to win the league.
Yeah, huh?
Bradford to finish second. Notts County to finish third.
Yeah.
There's my top promoted 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. Doncaster.
Yeah.
AFC Wimbledon.
Yeah.
4th, 5th.
2 more.
Grimsby.
Yeah.
And Salford.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. What makes you think Salford?
I just think that despite being on a poor run recently, and let's hope that continues on Saturday,
Yeah.
that you know, Carl Robinson's been there, done it, and I just can't bring myself to put Vale in the top 7. I can't do it. So
No. Just quickly, I want to say I think the playoff winners for me are Wimbledon.
oh yeah, I didn't say. For me, the playoff winners are Doncaster.
Okay.
Well, what's your?
They're showing good.
Walsall champions. So Bradford
Yeah.
City second. I'm going to go same with you. Notts County third because that's what I was thinking before you said it.
Okay. Before both of us said it as well.
I think AFC Wimbledon. That would be 4th. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Don't say it.
Port Vale 5th.
Oh.
And Crew
Yeah.
Alexander in 6th.
What about Doncaster?
Doncaster missed out completely.
So they go
No.
7th, which is a playoff place.
Oh, sorry.
7th is a playoff place.
Right, okay.
Top 3 get promoted, Will, and so your promoted sides are Walsall,
Yes.
Bradford, Notts County, yeah?
Yes.
Then from 4th to 6th you're having
4th to 7th.
Wimbledon. 4th to 7th you're having Wimbledon, Crew, Port Vale, and who else?
Doncaster, I'd imagine.
And
He's not gonna do it.
He's not, is he? I know he's not.
so I think okay. It's quite hard to say. So Notts County third.
Yeah. So you no, hang on, because Notts County you think will get promoted, yeah?
Yeah,
So
he said third.
so do 4th to 7th.
Okay. So AFC Wimbledon,
Yeah.
Port Vale,
Yeah.
Crew,
Yeah.
and then Grimsby. Yeah.
He's still not said Doncaster.
So you're in Doncaster and Missile all together?
Yes.
Okay.
Let
Very
me just
bold.
put it into perspective for you, Will, before you make that choice.
Okay.
There is a 6-point gap between Doncaster in 3rd and Crewe in 7th in the final playoff spot.
Okay, that's not too much, though.
There is also an 8-point gap between Doncaster in 3rd and Grimsby, 1 place outside the playoff in 8th. Are you still going to make that choice?
I'm gonna stick with my final decision.
Bold. He's just pulling it out of his arse, isn't he? Let's be honest. Okay.
Right. Oh, and who wins the playoffs? Will?
I think Wimbledon, actually, yeah.
Mm.
And Wimbledon win the playoffs, okay.
Yes.
Right. The battle at the bottom, I think is fairly straightforward. My personal opinion is I think it is 2 from 4.
So you're going from
Accrington in 21st with 36.
I think. Do you not think you should go a bit higher?
No, I think that.
How about Gillingham? Going from Gillingham with 38.
Gillingham 9 points off it.
Oh yeah, it's only 2, isn't it? Sorry, yeah. Yeah,
I think it's 2 from 4. Accrington in 21st with 36. Tranmere in 22nd with 30. Morecambe in 23rd with 29. And Carlisle in 24th with 27. My biggest takeaway from this is I think Carlisle will stay up and Morecambe and Tranmere will go down.
I agree. I was going to pick them too.
Let him do it.
Of course he was.
Come on.
Who's Carlisle manager right now?
Mark Hughes.
I'm going to stick with it and go Carlisle to get relegated.
Mm.
Whether they'll finish bottom or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And Morecambe to go down with them.
Okay. Can we just confirm them? That's Tranmere and Morecambe relegated for me.
Yes, and same for me.
Tranmere
Yeah.
and Morecambe relegated for Will.
Because you were saying, Tranmere were such poor form and not in a good state, and yeah, I think they'll go down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Morecambe because of the money situation. Are we there?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm listening. I thought you were going to say who your 2 are.
No, I've said it.
Yeah, so I thought you would. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, sorry.
Morecambe.
I must have missed that. Who did you say?
Morecambe and Carlisle.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I just think my personal reason for choosing Tranmere is I just think they've been terrible. And they've dropped off.
Yeah, and that's why I picked them, not just because Jordan picked them, but yeah, that's why I picked them.
We believe you.
I think that has been a truly, truly fascinating conversation between the 3 of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apart from Will, who basically just went with what we did.
As it got further from the Premier League, it was a bit tricky.
Yeah, I'm well aware that your knowledge only extends to the Premier League, and even then it's a bit sketchy.
Yeah. Alright, well that's it for this episode of Without Having Kicked the Ball. Hope you've enjoyed. Feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe to the Tube Mix YouTube channel, or if you're listening on Spotify, I'd love it, we'd love it if you could leave a review and give us a 5-star rating, and also if you think there's something that we could improve on, it would be very handy and very welcome as well. So, yeah, thank you for watching and all listening, and well, goodbye.